Namo Arihantanam Namo Siddhanam Namo Airiyanam Namo Uvajjayanam Namo Loisavasahunam. The first day was Uttam Kshama, forgiveness. The second, Uttam Mardho, humbleness. Number third was Uttam Arjo, simplicity. And the fourth was Uttam Shauch, satisfaction. Number fifth was Uttam Satya, the discourse of truth. And number sixth was Uttam Sanyam, that is restraint, controlling our senses and observing non-violence towards all living beings, whether they are one sensed or five sensed. Today we will discuss about Uttama Tapa Dharma. Tapa. Tap means to heat up. Tapanam tapaha. Tapaha. What is there to heat up? Not our minds, but there is something else. कर्मक्षयार्थं तप्यत इति तपः तदुत्तरत्र वक्ष्यमाणं द्वादश विकल्पमवसेयम्. The great gurus of the olden times have said that the karmas which we have bonded with are our inner bondages, and getting free from those karmas requires some heat, some tapa. So for the sake of demolishing our bondages of karmas, that which is performed is called tapa. This Uttam Tap provides power for a monk to perform his activities. The tapas are 12-fold. 6 of them are extrinsic and 6 intrinsic. The extrinsic tapas are pertaining to the body. The intrinsic are those tapas which are performed from within, and they are directly in connection with our soul or our heart, our minds, our emotions, our feelings, our thoughts. In English language, tap is called austerity. So monks perform austerities for their own purification. In metallurgy, it is taught that first of all you have to wash the ore, and then you have to heat the ore in big furnaces which have fire bricks, and where everything gets molten, and then there is process of fractional distillation, etc. There are many processes. The molten metal then ultimately comes out in the form of steel, gold, copper, or any other thing, aluminium, etc. Likewise, our souls are now bound with karmas. These karmas are extrinsic particles. They are particles of matter, they are atoms. And just like when somebody speaks, the microphone converts his voice into electromagnetic waves. These sound waves are converted into electromagnetic waves, and the lead wire carries that bunch of electromagnetic waves to that amplifier, and in that amplifier there is a device that amplifies this sound and then reproduces that sound from the speaker, and people can listen to that sound, that amplified sound, just like it is being said here, it is heard there. And when the data is recorded, the data is saved. It can be saved in a pen drive. In the past, it was being stored in tapes, then CDs, then DVDs, then these pen drives. So there are softwares that can save the data. Likewise, within us, we are living beings. There are atomic particles all around the universe. The Acharyas have called them Varganas. There are free atoms, there are groups of atoms, there are big molecules. They are called Varganas. There are Karman Varganas that convert into karmas and then embed themselves on our souls. And when the time of fruit arrives, they come into Uday, and then the whole sansar, the whole universe, every living being either suffers or enjoys the fruits of his own karmas. Again, This circle, this cycle goes on and on and on. When someone meditates deeply and stops thinking about events produced by the karmas, meditates deeply and stays in equanimity, the karmas embedded in the soul get separated, and the pure soul, free from all karmas, attains nirvana, salvation, liberation, freedom. This is called tapa. Tapa can be performed by householders. Tapa can be performed by monks, nuns. But the main field of performing tapas is monkhood. There was a son of a very wealthy merchant called Sukumal. The son's name was Sukumal. His mother was Yashobhadra. And when he was born, the astrologers were asked about his future. They said, that this chart shows that when he will grow up and whenever he will listen to the voice of a monk, he will become a monk. Otherwise, everything is fine and okay. Just this is a specific thing which we have to mention before you. You, being the mother, can take care of this. The mother took care of this, of course. His father became a monk. His maternal uncle also became a monk. But the mother was very careful that this child should not become a monk when he grows up. He should stay with me because I cannot live without my son. She restricted all entry of monks in her campus. Once her brother, who was a monk, came there and he established his Chaturmas, a period of 4 months staying at one place. He established that. When the news reached the mother, Yashobhadra Sethani, the merchant's wife, she rushed to that temple and just folded her hands and requested, please, 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 don't stay here. My son will become a monk. But her brother, who was the monk, said, we are mourn and we won't leave this place. So she had to restrict Sukumal from going there. Ultimately, the monk knew that Sukumal won't live very long. So he must be directed in a correct way. So when the time arrived, when the Chaturmas was getting over, Chaturmas means 4 months staying at one place. When it was getting over, it was almost Kartik Purnima, the Bharatiya month, Kartik, and the full moon day. The night was getting over, and that monk recited some scriptures. Those scriptures in which there was a description of the past life address of Sukumal. Sukamal was not asleep during that time. He listened to that description and then realized that this is the description of my past abode where I was in my past life. I was a deity, and in that life I had repeatedly thought about becoming a human being and performing austerities. And now, what am I doing here? I am indulging in all sensual pleasures. I just forgot everything. But now I will get initiated and I will become a monk and I will perform austerities. So there was no way to get out of that house because his mother had planted many people to not allow her son to go out. So the son thought that how should I get out of here? My wives are all sleeping, deep slumber. They are taking deep slumber. So I must go from the window. He was on the very top floor, so he tied the dresses of his wives, and they were saris, which is a traditional uniform of the sisters and mothers of India, of Bharat. So he tied those saris on the rods of the window, central rod, and there was sufficient place for him to get out, and then he climbed down, but his hands became red, and when he went to that temple where the monk was reciting this scripture, he just bowed in the feet at the feet of the Lord and then at the feet of Guru, the monk. And the monk finished reciting that scripture. It was almost morning time. Sukamal asked, "O pious being, O monk, please tell me something about me." The monk just said, "You have 3 days of this life with you. Within 3 days, everything will be over." And Sukamal uprooted his hairs, threw away all the garments and ornaments, became a monk, bowed at the feet of his holy Guru, and just went away in the forest to perform austerities. For 3 days, he performed Shavasana, just like a dead body. He lied down and meditated. A past life enemy came there. She was a fox. With her puppies, she arrived. She looked at him. Her anger rose. She was furious when she saw him. This is my past life enemy. And she started eating his feet. One foot was eaten by her, and the other two were eaten by puppies. Sukamal Muni was a very luxurious person. The teeth just pierced his flesh, and he felt that pain, but he controlled his mind. He didn't stop meditating, and those animals tortured him for 3 days. She was deliberately eating slowly, so that he could feel all the pain for a longer period of time. Ultimately, when Shri tore open the stomach of Muniraj, his life was over, and he reached the Sarvarth Siddhi abode, the last abode of all living beings, those who could reach there. Not all reach there. And then, after that, when somebody becomes a human being, he gets liberated. The second last life of Sukumal Swami was Ahmindra Pad in the Sarvarth Siddhi Viman. So, how could he have tolerated all those painful bites? By concentrating and meditating upon the divine discourses given by Shri Arhant Paramatma. He just thought that this body is transitory. It will get finished one day. No one can protect anyone from dying. When death is in the front of a person, he has to die. A mundane being changes his form in every birth, again and again, repeatedly. He undergoes the cycle of life and birth. Our own body, mind, and speech are the entry doors of karmas, and our passions, our attachments and detachments, our love and hatred, they are the cause of bondage. Our illusion and delusion is also the cause of bondage. We can stop all this. A living being is alone, all alone when he is born, all alone when he is dying. Nobody comes with him anywhere. People are selfish, so they show superficial love towards each other. And for their own safety, human beings live in groups. In adverse conditions, friends disappear. Etc. etc. He just contemplated, he meditated on these anuprekshas. Ultimately, his meditation reached the 11th stage. His gunasthan was 11th. Upshant Moh Gunasthan. and there his ayu, his life got over, and he reached Sarvarth Siddhi. When the mother came to know about all this, she rushed like a mad woman in the direction of Sukumal. And when she reached that spot, there was full of fragrance. There was many deities worshipping his cadaver. When some of his wives saw the cadaver, two of them just collapsed. The rest of them thought that really a life of austerity is a beautiful life for a human being. Gold shines when it is heated. A human being who performs austerities shines in this world forever. So we should also become nuns. And they all decided, with the mother also, Yeshobhadra Ma, they all became nuns. And that guru, who was the brother of Sukumal Swami's mother, came there and he initiated everyone. He gave a discourse about everything, that how many lives the struggle was going on in the life of Sukumal Swami. And then ultimately, they all became tapasvinis and tapasvis, those who heard the lectures, the discourses of the Guru. They all became disciples. And Sukumal Swami became an ideal, and through ages since then till now, during Sallekhana, every sadhu listens to the story of Sukumal Swami wholeheartedly and forgets his own pains, thinks that how he could endure everything and why I am not enduring just these little pains. Austerities increases our endurance, and when endurance is strong, meditation is perfect, and perfect meditation gives its fruits to the last extent, to the ultimate extent. So this is called Uttama Tapa. No selfishness, just purity, purity, purity. Om Hreem Uttama Tapo Dharmangaya Namaha. Om Hreem Uttama Tapo Dharmangaya Namaha. Om Hreem Uttama Tapo Dharmangaya Namaha. Jainam Jayatu Shasanam.